And I'm going to apply, I think I need, there's another one. Oh, good. It's the, we can apply this bevel and emboss to the state image over here. So this has a little bit of a pop. This looks okay too, the flat version of state, but I kind of tend to like this bevel and emboss too. So again, I will option click or alt click on the PC, this bevel and emboss, and drag it down to the state layer. And now the state layer has its own little bevel edge going on there, which is cool. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Now there is one big change I'm going to make from the book because, well, first of all, I'm going to close off this stuff. There we go. I don't like the way this picture and this picture are covering the arch. So I'm going to show you a little trick because, when we look at these layers, you can see that there's a stack to them. There's a certain order and arrangement. And all it essentially means is when you look at the top of the stack, then you look over here at the picture, the lake is the layer that is closest to us. Okay? The farthest away is the background. Okay? Um, and you can rearrange this stack as you go. Hopefully this isn't too much of a stretch for you. Well, if we were to be able to put this picture behind the arch, that would mean the arch would have to have its own separate layer. And then that's a bit of an extraction process. What I'm going to do is show you something a little bit more advanced and I think a little bit more, um, I guess, tricky. So first of all, I'm going to turn off Lake and I'm going to turn off Batter just for a moment. And I'm going to zoom into the arch a bit. So I'm holding my keyboard shortcut spacebar command and I'm drawing a box. So we zoom in right there. I'm going to go get the quick select tool. So I need to change tools. It's right now set to magic wand. I'll change it to quick select. Okay. And my brush is a little on the small side. I'll hit my brackets. Okay, what I want to do is I will drag a selection. And, oh, it's getting a little bit big. Let me turn off the mask here for a moment. I'm going to start again. A little bit bigger of a brush. Oh, it would also help if I was on the right layer. I need to be on the background. There we go. This will make a lot more sense now. Oh, look, it does a great job picking that up. That's perfect. And I can resize my brush down a little bit. Now, I've probably said this in another video, but it bears repeating that this quick select tool, it's already the kind of tool that allows you to just add to your selection area without having to hold down any keys or change tools or change any options up in the option bar. So all you got to do is just keep clicking and dragging and it creates, this is probably way more than I need, but that's okay. Going over here to the left and making, there we go. Now I've got the entire arch selected, well, entire upper portion of the arch, and that's great. Now let's zoom out, Command 0, and I'm going to turn on the batter. Basically what I want to do, what I want to have happen is the arch to sit in front of this picture. And the way we're going to do that is essentially we're going to make part of the batter picture invisible. And that's going to be caused by creating a layer mask. Now, as far as I'm concerned, since I'm showing you something advanced, if you can just duplicate what I'm doing and just be aware that this tool exists, when you get to the next chapter that talks about this tool, it should make more sense. Okay, so just hang with me. First of all, I'm going to click on the batter layer. And also, here's another little trick that I think is another chapter. I'm going to save my marching ants so that I don't have to go reselecting that thing. So I'm going to go to the channels palette right here and go down to this item right here, which is create an alpha channel. Now you can see that there's a little bit of an alpha channel right there. You can't quite tell what it is, but what it is it's these marching ants. Okay, and it's just saving it in a location that I can come back to and recall. Now I go back to my layers palette, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to this button which looks exactly like the one we just played with in the channels panel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Option key and then click Add Layer Mask right there. And look what happened. Now the arch is in front of the picture, and I've added this little thing over here called a layer mask to that particular layer. Okay, for now, if you can just duplicate this, fantastic. It's not vital that you know all the details at this point. I want to go back and add my marching ants again. So I'm going to drag the alpha channel here down, down to the first button. That gives me marching ants. I don't know if you can see that. Let me click on my composite RGB channel. You should see this again. There we go. So I've got my marching ants there. And now I'm going to turn on the lake layer and do the same thing. Now, admittedly, the lake layer is not hiding much of the arch this time, but it's enough to where we need to do a little something. And in fact, I've got a little bit of a variation here, but that's okay. Click on the lake layer. I'm going to hold down the Option key as I go down to my Add Layer Mask button, and I hit Option and then Add Layer Mask. Okay, and now you can see that the arch is covering that picture ever so slightly. As far as I'm concerned, it's not enough. So what I'm going to do is, well, you can see now that I have a layer mask going on right there, and what I want to have happen is I want to have this picture behind the arch a little bit more clearly. So what I'm going to do, well, first of all, if I move my layer just by clicking over there on the picture, and I get the Move tool, letter V, and I move this around, well, that really doesn't work for me because it doesn't hide behind the arch. Okay, so I'll undo that. And if I move the layer mask around, frankly, it does the same thing as what I just did before. And the reason is because these two things are coupled together. Well, if I click on this link, it uncouples the layer mask from the picture. Now I can move them independently. So one, I could move the picture around like this, and now you can see that the arch covers the picture a little bit. So maybe I'll just move over just a little bit like that. Not bad. What I could have done, well, I undid that. What I could do also is click on the layer mask itself and move the mask. And what happens is it winds up cutting a hole in the picture like that. Okay, so at this point, again, as long as you're familiar with this stuff, great. Okay, so I just hit Command Z to undo that. And I will go back and just change the picture location. So maybe down there a little bit more to the right. Don't forget, friends, you can also use your arrow keys to move things. Either one pixel at a time, tap, 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 tap. Or if you hit Shift and then hit your arrow keys, it will move 10 pixels at a time, like so. I am pretty happy with that. Okay, one last thing to play with before we go. So now that I've got my top layer selected, I'm going to create a new layer on top of that. Remember, when you click on this guy right here, a new layer will show up on top of this layer stack. So I'll click there. My new layer shows up here. I'm going to call this Border. B-O-R-D-E-R. Click. Okay. And now I'm going to do the same kind of border that I applied to these other individual pictures over here. So I'll hit Select All, Command A. I will go back to the Select menu and go to Modify, make a border out of it. Make it 15 pixels. And there's my little border there. I'll go to the Edit menu, go to Fill, and tell it to fill it with white, which is what this is, white. Click OK. And now I've got the border on its own layer. I'll deselect the marching ants, and I think I'm done. I'm going to hit F so we can go to presentation mode and see how it looks. Looks pretty good. And I think we're done.